Hey everybody, welcome to the District Stitcher. My name is Judy and this is a channel about cross stitch. This is Flosstube number 16, I believe. It's been a little while since I recorded, but I lost the stitching bug there for a little while, was busy, and then I got it back. So I have stuff to show you today, and hopefully I can stick to a better schedule from here on out. January and February are just the early part of the year just always seems to be a struggle for me. Motivation wise, just getting back into the swing of things, getting back into a routine post holiday seems to take me a while. So, but that is largely solved, and I have finishes to show you. I don't have any final finish objects, fully finished objects, but I do have some finished stitching. One of these days, I am going to sit down and just mow through my finish pile to get some fully finished objects out. So hopefully that inspiration will strike sometime soon, but so far, not really. So let's go ahead and just jump right into the stitching here. First up, last weekend I did a little Mill Hill kit. I forget the name of it, but it's basically just a, let me move this so you can focus. You know, it's always hard to show Mill Hills and anything sparkly. But this is the, little Mill Hill, little pretty llama. She's just so happy and so pretty, and she's got the flowers. So, I think it's fun. I will, like the other ones I've done, I will, cut out around this and then glue some felt onto the back and super glue the magnet on. They come with, most of them come with this little magnet that you can super glue to the back to turn them into magnets. You can always, instead of putting the magnet on, you can always put like a ribbon or something and make it into an ornament, but I really like them as magnets. So, she'll be on my fridge at some point. Next up, I finally finished Hive Rules. So if you've seen other episodes of my channel, you'll know that I've been working on this for a while, and I finished it up. That was partly why I hadn't recorded it for a while. It felt like I was so close for a while that I just kept working on it, and so it was the only thing I was working on. And thus really the only thing I had to show, which wasn't necessarily very interesting for a whole Flosstube episode. But it's done, and apologies, I have not ironed it yet. I'm going to iron, trim down the sides, and take it in to be framed. There's a really nice local frame shop, Capitol Hill Frame and Photo, and I've had them frame my cross stitch before, so here we go. I would show you the picture, but I don't need to because it's done. So this is done with the, let me see if I can get the light on it a little better. This is done on a Lugana. I don't remember the count, but it was, I think, just the called for Lugana. It's definitely the called for DMC floss. And it's whatever size is recommended in the pattern, because I just got it. You know how, like, if you order on 123 Stitch, you can select, like, pattern only or pattern in the fabric and the thread. I did the pattern, the fabric, and the thread all together. So we've got Hive Rules, Be Sweet Like Honey, Mind Your Own Beeswax, which, that's probably my favorite on here. Mind Your Own Business. Always be humble and kind. Believe in yourself and others. And love and be loved. Let me see if I can. There we go, you can see it all. So it's super cute, and the reason I was drawn to this project is I loved the colors. This is, to me, this feels like it needs to either be in like a classroom or like a home with kids, right? I mean, it doesn't necessarily need to be, but I like the idea of it being in a home with kids. So when I get it framed, I'm going to go for a frame that is, if it will focus, there we go. I'm going to go for a frame that is sort of this teal color, and that, I'm going to gift it to my niece. She has 2 little girls, so I feel like maybe there's, you get 2 sisters. I think maybe there's some occasional reminding to be sweet to each other that might come in handy. I'm not saying all siblings are like that, but come on now. I mean, my sister and I always got along, but we are several years apart. So there was enough distance there that it wasn't an issue. But my grandnieces are 5 years apart now. So the oldest, Mia, who's going to be 6 this December, is, she's taking big sister duty very well and very seriously. But, once the baby is up and toddling around after, and then older, and then getting into all her stuff, I feel like some reminders to be nice to each other might be handy. All right, the next finish that I have is The Little Hen and I looked this up because she's Italian. It's Crocette a Gogo, which I guess translates as crosses galore. So Crocette a Gogo, and it is the little hen. If you watched before, I'd stitched the little penguin, which was adorable and I loved. She's got a couple series of these in like the same border and around the same size that are really nice, and she's finished them as pillows. And I will probably do the same. And I mentioned it before, but I saw someone on Instagram. Saw someone on Instagram who had like the white fuzzy like chenille trimming around the edge of the pillow, and I think that was so cute on the little penguin, and I think it would also look nice on the little hen. So here she is. She didn't take super long to stitch. Let me put something behind here so she doesn't see through. There you go. I just finished her last night. She was very fun to stitch. It was, that blue's not really showing up, and I don't know why. It's funny because the blue in this pattern is only on that one egg up top, so I probably could have just subbed in a similar blue that I had already left over from another project, but here we are. And this is Eggs for the Easter Hen. I made a mistake. It's not a huge one, but these little flowers up here and over here and stuff were supposed to have this dark pink center, and instead I made it this pink, the kind of medium pink. But I wasn't about to unstitch it just to change that, so I think it's fine. No one will notice or care. So that is the little hen. She's so cute. It was really nice to stitch this. Just the colors are really sweet. So I had a lot of fun with that. I had a lot of fun stitching up the little penguin too. I think I have a good stack of her patterns that I look forward to stitching. So I quite like it. So those are the ones that I have finished up. And so I now have, I have 3 Q-snaps, so I usually try to work on like 3 projects at a time. I have a stand that you can see behind me. It still has the stocking on it that I showed in my previous video that I haven't touched. I may at some point, but I don't want to take it off this thing right now, and I don't really want to stitch Christmas at the moment, so I don't know what I'm going to do, but I only stitch on the stand every so often because it's hard to multitask if I'm stitching on the stand. And I usually like to listen to podcasts or I watch something, and I'll talk about that in a bit, but I just haven't felt like stitching on the stand. But let's get into what I have on my Q-snaps. And I will pop one of these, this side probably. I will pop a photo up here of the pattern, because this pattern I have digitally, and it is called Fresh Strawberries, I think. Pretty sure it's called Fresh Strawberries. But it's by Emma Congdon, Stitchrovia. I love her stuff. And this, I had showed, several episodes ago I had showed my start on this, and I haven't really progressed any, but I do have it back on the hoop, and I do plan to work on it. And so just to refresh your memory, again, sorry, there you go. There we go. That is where I am. So this is just kind of the hot pink of the word, and this is on a really pretty, you're not really going to be able to tell, maybe if I pull it back a bit. This is a really pretty neutral, yeah, you can kind of see it there in a distance. It's a really pretty neutral by Picture This Plus. It's called Tycho, Tycho, Tycho. You can tell I haven't filmed in a while. I'm a little loopy. But anyway, it's called Tycho, and it is 32 count, I believe, is what I have. It's either 32 or 36, but I think mostly I stitch on 32, so I'm pretty sure this is a 32. And it's just got this really nice, very, very light blue-gray modeling on the cream. It's a really nice neutral that doesn't look, it doesn't have a strong modeling, but it has enough that it looks interesting, but it's not overwhelming, I guess is what I would say. Pardon the bus noises in the background if the mic picks that up. I live in the city, so I live in Washington, D.C., and it's a lovely day, so I have the windows open. Also, excuse the mess behind me. I usually tidy up the sofa, but I forgot to before I filmed, and here we are. The next one I have is a pattern by Tiny Modernist, and this is called Unicorn Tapestry, and this is a new start. It is not a new pattern. I've had it for a little while. I bought it as a kit from Stitched Modern, and you know, they sent the linen and everything, and I did not keep the tag for the linen. That is my mistake, but it is pretty sure, yeah, it is the called for linen. So this is the pattern. It is Unicorn Tapestry. And I loved it. It's going to take a while to stitch because there's a lot of little elements in there. But I loved the colors. I just thought it was so pretty. I am going to have to make one substitution because I think it's number 608 for DMC was not in the envelope. I think they just accidentally left it out. I'm trying really hard not to buy new patterns. I'm trying to stick with kitting up stuff that I already have because I have a ton of patterns. And I just made a purchase to kit up the next, I'll talk about that later, but I just made a purchase. So I didn't want to, I don't really have like a Michaels or anything. I mean, there's Michaels around me, but they don't really carry embroidery floss. They're not the big ones. They carry more decor and stuff like that. It's hard to find one that has a selection of DMC floss and stuff like that. So I would have to order it. And as we all know, floss can't travel on its own. It would get lonely. So I wasn't about to just place an order for one skein of floss. So I found an orange that is fairly similar. And I don't think you'll be able to tell the difference. I looked at it next to the other couple oranges and it fits right in. So there'll just be one light substitution. But like I said, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. Yep, this is the pattern. So pretty. So the linen is, I recognize this on the back, the called for, which is Zweigart linen in Riviera Aqua. And I think this is, this might be the 28 count linen. I'm not really sure. I'm also not really sure if I like stitching on it because it is very, it's kind of a loose weave. It's a little loosey-goosey for my taste, but here is the start, so you can see how pretty some of the floss colors are going to be on this aqua background. But again, it is the called for, so it'll be really pretty. I really look forward to stitching that one. The next one, yeah, I'm almost positive this is 28 count. The next one, I have a very, very small start on it because I just started it last night, just to get something on this Q-snap after I finished up the little hen. I'm sorry, my nose, it's spring. And every spring, the pollen tries to murder me. So, apologies if I keep scratching my nose. It itches. Everything itches. My eyeballs itch. My face itches. My head, everything itches. It's just spring. I love spring. I love flowers. I love the turning of seasons. I just wish that spring loved me back. But it is the greatest unrequited love story of my sinuses and spring. So, anyway. I am stitching Mermaid of Atlantis by Mirabilia. Let's see if I can get it up. So where the fuck? There we go. Focus on the little picture here. She's so pretty. I like that it is stitched. It is a mermaid, but it is stitched on this like dark olive green. I don't have the tag for this anymore, but this is also, I am fairly sure this is a 32 count linen. It's definitely linen. And it is in, this, like, olive green color, which I just think is really neat. And you can see I just have just a couple stitches up in the upper left-hand border. So that is my very small start on Mermaid of Atlantis. But I plan on working on her today. So I will hopefully have more of her to show next time I film. I have a couple bits of haul that I wanted to show. I know I said I wasn't buying any patterns, but again, this is the problem. So I bought, if you have been watching my channel, you know that I've been stitching the Waxing Moon monthly trios, and I've been finishing them and putting them on my door. And I bought the floss for the last trio for October, November, and December. Because I hadn't had, some of the floss I didn't have, so I went ahead and just bought that. And I bought some more. I've been stitching it mostly on Vintage Country Mocha, so I bought some more of that. And on sale, as we all know, I love the Mill Hills, but on sale was this little daffodil kit. And I thought it was really pretty, so I bought it. Here's the thing though, I saw there's like an autumn harvest one, and I want to say it was Seazook Stitcher. Pretty sure it was Seazook Stitcher. Stitched it on fabric instead of the perforated paper, not this one, but the Harvest one, and had it finished as a pillow. And it was absolutely adorable. So that is what I plan to do with this. I'm going to not stitch it on the perforated paper it comes with. I'm going to stitch it on fabric and finish it as a pillow whenever it is that I get to it. But it's super cute. The other one, I don't think I showed this. I looked back at my last Flosstube, but I don't think I remember to show you. But I, on eBay, won an auction for the best of Teresa Wenzler. So, if you are not familiar, she was a popular stitcher, stitched with the company Leisure Arts, which I don't even know that they're around anymore. Back in like the 80s, 90s? 90s, I think. And she was really known for, one, for carousel horses. She made a lot of carousel horse designs. And she also did a lot of fantasy designs. And I didn't really know about her until I saw some other people had their hands on some vintage patterns of hers. I love that things that in the 90s are now vintage. I'm old. I hate it. But the had some patterns of hers, and I love her fantasy style. You can see that dragon. I'm not going to open this up because you'll see the patterns, but on the back, you can get an idea of what is in this book. I really want to do the Rapunzel one. I like that one. But also the unicorn and the Pegasus, I think, are beautiful. And I'm not a horse person. I was never a unicorn person. I was never a fantasy horse person. But I just think that they are so pretty. The issue is, these are intense stitches. So, let's see if I can get up close on. Like you can see, I think probably this castle one's the best. All that border, there we go. All that border, there's so much detail. And there is so much backstitching. Everything is backstitched. Which I don't really mind. It just takes a while. So, at some point I will, there we go, you can see that. Come on, focus. You can see all of that detail on that Pegasus. Well, it's so pretty. It just, it is absolutely what I would have wanted to stitch as a teen. I was absolutely, I still am a fantasy nerd, so I really like those, and I think that they'll be fun to stitch, even if they will take half a forever. So that's really the update on projects. Other than that, I've been spinning some yarn, so you can see. I did that. I have been, I have way too much stuff over here. I've been working on getting some of my leftover yarn into a crochet. It's going to be like a big shawl that'll wrap around with tassels on it and just, you know, crazy multicolor, which is the best part of crochet. I love, you know, all the multicolor stuff. So I was kind of doing that stuff in between while I was waiting to get my stitching bug back. And then, other than that, I've just been, this is the life, we're done with stitching. So if you want to check out here, go ahead. I've largely been just very busy with work. We did a lot of stuff for the Cherry Blossom Festival. If if you have, if you're from DC or you have lived in DC at any point in time, you know the Cherry Blossom Festival, cherry blossom season is a big deal. It's not just stuff at the tidal basin. There's stuff all across the city. Everybody does tie-in events. It's just, and it's very beloved all over the city, I think, because it is, winter here in the mid-Atlantic tends to be really gray and overcast and rainy, primarily. We will occasionally get some snow. The dangerous thing that we get here is that icy mix, that makes it really dangerous to drive. But by and large, there's just, it's just gray and unappealing. So I think when the cherry blossoms come out, it's the first burst of color that you'll see. And so everybody puts the decals up, the big cherry blossom, like they're like vibrant pink decals that you can buy for businesses. There's a whole, they call it the petal porch thing where everybody decorates their porches in pink. So it's really just like, it's kind of like how Valentine's Day is like the first burst of color. It is like that in the city. Like just everything goes pink. So I live in Capitol Hill, and everybody has little cherry trees all over the place. And also Stanton Park has some pretty cherry trees. And obviously we're past bloom now, but now is they're called the Kwanzaa cherry trees. They've got bigger, like, double blossoms, and they're a darker pink, and those are actually my favorite, because it's just pink right in your face, rather than the very delicate, classic cherry blossoms. So I run a nonprofit called Eastern Market Main Street, and it supports all the small and local businesses that are right around Eastern Market. And I often do events at the market itself in the North Hall event space. And so we did, we had some craft classes that were really fun. And one of them had a couple no-shows because the weather was terrible. So I was able to sit in, and it was a pressed flower class with Wildry. This is the name of the company. And I'll link it below. Because she's on Instagram, and she does classes around here, but you can also buy her stuff, and it's really cute. And she does these pressed flower in like glass frames, and so this class was putting one of those together. And so I was able to do one. Isn't it pretty? So I'm not going to hang it in the window because the sunlight will bleach the color. It's not really a sun catcher, so I'm just going to put it on the wall somewhere. But she presses all the flowers herself. And so for the class, she does do a class on how to press flowers, that she also will show you how to press the flowers. And then, but she had already obviously pressed these because it takes a while. So we put them all together and just little dots of glue and put them in. So it was really fun. And that was all the craft classes we did. We did candles. We did a bunch of stuff with this, a local business called Reloom. I will also link them below. They do a bunch of, they sell goods that local craft people make, but they also do a ton of classes. Like that's kind of their like a maker type store. So it's really fun. It's really cute. They have adorable stuff. They teach classes to make really fun projects. So they're a fun group of people. And we did that with them. And then we did, I put together, I knew I wanted to do like a little fundraiser party, just a large party. And, you know, if we made money off it, great. Any profit that we make goes back into the organization for more stuff. For more direct business support, for more events and things like that. But even if we didn't make any money on it, I knew I wanted to do a party anyway. And we did a Taylor Swift dance party. I got the idea because I was sitting at my friend's Super Bowl party. She's a huge Swiftie. And I saw how much attention that garnered, and the fact that Taylor Swift's new album was going to be out on April 19th. And I had the 12th set aside for a fundraiser. So I was like, you know what, we're just going to do a Taylor Swift party. And the guy who DJ'd for me is a colleague who works at the local Chamber of Commerce, and he also owns several restaurants in the area. And at one of them, at a bar called The Pug, he does a Taylor Swift night. And oftentimes, because it's a bar, you know, people are like, well, can I bring my kids? Because my kids are huge Swifties, and it's a bar, so not really. So I knew when I did the event at Eastern Market that I was going to do it as all ages. And it was ridiculously adorable. There were crowds, hordes. I think that is the collective of tween girls, is a horde. So there were hordes of tweens all dressed up, all in the Taylor Swift makeup, who came in, and when the DJ who did it, they knew every word. They were jumping up and down the entire time. So it was great. We tired out all the kids, and then we gave the moms wine. It was perfect. But lots of people, you know, kids were dancing with their parents, and it was a really fun kind of all ages event. So it was a ton of fun, but I am still so tired from planning it, from doing it, and my feet still hurt from being on my feet all night, because I was in a gold, sparkly, fringy dress, very Taylor Swift, I guess. I'm not a Swiftie. Before you come at me, massive respect for Taylor Swift. I have nothing against Taylor Swift. It's just not music that comes across my playlist and stuff very often. I like it when it's on. I just don't really, I am not a fan. But I would not call myself a fan. But I like her. Like, obviously, I threw a Taylor Swift dance party. But I got the dress, and I did the makeup and everything for it. So, it was a lot of fun. I'm so tired. So tired. So in between that, my weekends have been spent kind of downtime in stitching. This weekend in recovery, and last weekend I was kind of like, I'm just going to take a full like rest weekend, because I had a bunch of migraines the previous week. There's been a lot of weather changes in this area, and so that can trigger a migraine for me, which is not fun. But while I was recovering and stitching, instead of reading anything, I've been stitching and watching The Vampire Diaries. My friend got me into this show. I don't know if you watch. So if you watch The Vampire Diaries, comment below and let me know. I'm on season 3, just at the beginning of it. And I am vastly enjoying it because it is a bunch of really pretty people making really, really bad choices. Horrible decisions. So it is vastly entertaining to watch all these pretty people make the worst possible choice in any given scenario. So I am highly entertained by it. I had watched a little bit of The Originals, which is a spin-off of The Vampire Diaries. And so now I'm watching The Vampire Diaries, and my god, they're just so dumb. And so pretty. And so dumb. I love it. It's fabulous. It's ridiculous. So if you watch, let me know. That's pretty much it for what I have to share. So happy stitching, happy Flosstube watching, and thanks for sticking with me. I'll see you next time.